Guys, oh, okay. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the Feral Flare. So, if you guys have any questions for me, ask me in chat. We're going to do this purely unscripted based on whatever you guys have questions on and what I put into my PowerPoint. I did not prepare at all, so I apologize if I talk a lot, but we're going to try and keep it short, less than 10 minutes. All right? So, all right, guys, here we go. Yeah, I know you feel like a student right now. This is how I treat my students. So I've been a Master Yi user since 2009, so I feel like I have a lot of say on Master Yi. And right now, undoubtedly, he is the most common Feral Flare user. He has a ton of ban. At the time of speaking, he's like 90% ban on NA and like 30% on Korea. Really insane. So I'm also Diamond 1 on both Korea and NA, so I have a decent understanding of game mechanics, right? Yep, we're using PowerPoint. Yes, I was a Grand Chase player. And I was a Wriggles user before the Feral Flare. So let's make this clear. I've been using Wriggles since the Season 4 started when Wriggles was changed. So I think I have a pretty decent understanding of how Wriggles Lantern works. And I have been using Wriggles Lantern since uh, since they remade it. So, and I've been using it in Diamond 1 on both NA and Korea. And keep in mind, I have 200 ping on NA. So I know how to use it to farm, I know what it does, I know how good it is, and I know why Feral Flare is broken. So, let's go ahead and start. So, yeah, I know they did DEF CON. Hold the question. So, was Wriggles ever truly viable? And I feel like it kind of was viable. So, especially on users like Master Yi, uh, Feral Flare is just an overkill of an already viable item because people like Jax, Master Yi, anybody with auto attacks could do well in the jungle with it. So, thank you, Captain Lulz. So, the thing about Feral Flare was it was cheap and it had pretty good stats. So, it had 30% attack speed, 12 AD after its remake, 30% gold, and plus 100 damage to minions. So, that was the important part. The important part was the plus damage to minions. It let you farm faster, clear objectives, get a lot more gold faster. It was just an all around awesome item. So, yeah, it also worked on New Deer. Thank you, I'm Challenger, for that. So, it also gave you a free ward, which a lot of people did not seem to understand. I was checking the Wikia, and it was actually pretty cost efficient. It wasn't totally, but when you considered by the 20-minute mark, I usually shot for about 700 or 800 gold from the Wriggles, so it almost always paid for itself really easily. And the stats weren't half bad, especially when it gave armor. The armor was okay because you normally don't build armor, and it gave you the armor that you needed. So, so I feel like this item was underappreciated, especially on clearing junglers like Master Yi and Jax and whoever. Yeah. So hey, thank you for that, X Peaky. I can't say your name. So now there is Feral Flare. So let's get into the point. We want to make this PowerPoint quick and easy so people know what I'm saying and they don't have to sit here all day and watch it. So yeah, new champions can now jungle. This is a positive. We have a lot of new champions that can enter the jungle, but unfortunately, they're also getting clouded by champions like Master Yi and Jax. And so, actually, new champions can jungle, but at the same time, there's always going to be an amount of champions that perform overly well with a certain item. So, although new champions can jungle, other champions are going to jungle better. So this item can also be used late game. I'm actually going to talk about this after this part right here. So I just got a law message. Nice. So this item can be used late game, and that's a problem in my opinion, but I will talk about this. It's a positive here. This item can be used late game. You no longer are using a useless slot. And it also works against champions. Amazing. A jungle item that works against champions. That's kind of like saying Spirit Stone should heal you when you hit champions for 6% of your life. Or damage. Nah, not a good idea. And it promotes a different kind of playstyle. So junglers are no longer roaming and awesome. They're now kind of farmy. You'll see junglers that sit in the jungle until 20 minutes, and then they'll come out. Actually, that's my playstyle. Anybody who watches my stream knows that I do that. So, yes, I know, see, phone bro, I am a god. So, and there are some negatives as well. Yeah, dude, Wriggles used to be really viable back in the day. Thank you, Dual Arc. Actually, it used to be so viable, people used it in lane. Like Udyr. Udyr was a god with Wriggles. So, yeah. Now the negatives. They're in yellow. It works against champions. This is a big problem. It's a jungle item. Why does it work against champions? We're trying to make it a more viable pickup. It was already viable, but okay, I can accept it. It needs a little boost because some people aren't picking it up. I have a proposed fix for it. I'll talk about that near the end of the PowerPoint. So, it is a late game item. This is a huge problem. Like, for example, you used to sell the Wriggles when you wanted another item, but now you're paying 1,650 gold, soon to be 1,800, for an item that is better than a Bloodthirster. Why? But we'll talk about that as well. It's going to be on the next slide or the slide after. We're going to talk about how it compares to, like, say, a Bloodthirster. Yeah, so what new champions can jungle? Like, you have Xin Zhao's really good in the jungle now. Jax is really good. Like, he was already good, but now he can clear, and it synergizes so well. You just see a lot more new jungle people coming out, but you also see them overshadowed by really strong clear people. So here we go. Another problem. Its farming gameplay is not that fun, especially for your team. If you're sitting in the jungle all day, believe me, I know, I farm all day. I played a not fun farming jungle, but people still watch me. Maybe it's because I'm cute. Alright, no, I'm just kidding. So, dude, no offensive language, no. Yeah, so, thank you, you like my hat, thank you. And the stats are too much. Like, I already used this item before it turned into a Feral Flare, and now it just gets so many stats. So we can go ahead and look at that right now. So we have the old Wriggles and the new Feral Flare. So I used to use an item with 30% attack speed, and it got buffed to 35%. Straight buff. 1280 to 1580. Straight buff. Plus 100 damage to monsters to plus 100 damage and plus 3 per big minion you kill to minions. And now you do damage to players. Why? But I digress. Okay, so this is an item I already picked up, and now it gets a huge buff. Like, I do nothing, and I get the exact same item plus more. I get 5% attack speed, 3 AD, 33 damage on players. That scales infinitely. I get a free ward on the old Wriggles. Now I get a free ward and plus 1 ward. So you put down the Wriggles ward, you get a Feral Flare, you put down another ward. It's kind of like when you use Bilgewater and Cutlass. You can slow it Cutlass by Bilgewater, and you get rid of the cooldown. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Straight Rogue. And then you get plus 10 hit on monsters on the old Wriggles. And now you get plus 10 on hit for Feral Flare that is unmitigated by armor. Why? And it works on players. Why? But that's okay. Whatever. So these are the differences between the two items. As you can see, an item I used to use got insanely buffed. And we're wondering why Yi is always banned now. Because Wriggles was already a good item. It just needed a little tweak. Alright, so now, as I said earlier, Bloodthirster, like, it's not unreal to get 40 stacks on Feral Flare by 20 to 30 minutes. It depends on how well you're doing, what elo you're in. I usually shoot for 40 stacks, 25 to 30 minutes. So, yeah, I know. So, yeah, I talked about the sustain on Feral Flare, actually. You get plus 1 per large monster kill. So we're going to talk about the sustain right now, actually, Alucard. So you have a Bloodthirster with full stacks is 180, 18% lifesteal, and you lose a bunch of stacks on death. Compared to a Feral Flare, you get 35% attack speed, 1580, 220 damage to minions, which lets you kill Baron really easily. You get a free ward. Oh, and you get 73 magic damage on players, which means that they cannot build armor to counter you because now you do magic damage as well. And you get a free ward. And you get 50 on hit heal, which is more than you're going to be life stealing probably, or it's going to be really dang close. And you can get more than 40 stacks. Why? I don't know. But we're going to talk about the proposed changes that I think Feral Flare needs. Because right now, Feral Flare was nerfed, which is good. Are we surprised? No, we're not. So it went from 1,650 gold to 1,850, right? Is that right? So, what this basically means is you pick it up a little bit later, and so you get the stacks a little bit later as well. But it's not really a huge deal. But what it does mean is that Spirit Stone junglers can get more ganks and bully this Feral Flare jungler before he gets his power spike. I guess that's a good idea, but I don't think it addresses the problem. Yes, yeah, the magic damage is a real big problem, like Dulark said, because you have true damage, you have fizz damage, you have magic damage, all on Master Yi. That is insane. People that use this item already do physical damage, now they do magic damage. Maybe you could change it into fizz damage. It would synergize more, and it'd be easier to counter. So, yes, sorry, I have a stuffed up nose right now. So, I have some proposed changes. Oh, Dude, don't mess with me. Alright, proposed changes. This item should no longer stack. I know I will get a lot of hate for this. Oh, I love to stack. It's a fun mechanic. Look at Veigar. Look at Nasus. But this makes you farm the jungle forever, and it makes it not good for competitive play. So actually, one of the competitive players, I don't remember who it was talking about Feral Flare. And he said, oh, in some games, it's really hard for me to even kill enough camps to get Feral Flare, right? Well, we should make it so that instead of stacking infinitely, which is broken in solo queue and not so much in the competitive play, we should make it stop stacking. So if it stops stacking, then in competitive play, they won't have to farm so long. They can still gank. We can see some interesting gameplay. And in solo queue, our junglers won't be farming all day, and they won't feel bad, and it'll be awesome. Like as I said, Wriggles was already viable on champions like Master Yi, but now with this Feral Flare, even if it only does a little bit of damage or it doesn't stack, then it would be so much better. Like right now, it is uncontrollable. You never know how many stacks you're gonna have. At 10 minutes in the game, you could have your Pharaoh, right? But like at 20 minutes, you could have 40 stacks, or you could have 50 stacks. Like it's really hard to balance an item that snowballs out of control. At least in this way, if it does not stack, you can know what you're going for. We're using PowerPoint for this presentation. All right. So Feral Flare should also do a flat 40 magic damage to champions. If it does not scale, it should just do a flat amount of damage. It should do 30 or 40. Like, I think 40 is a really good number, especially for the cost of the item. This item should be sold late game. Like, do you keep Spirit of the Elder Lizard late game? Most people don't. So I feel like this item should be sold late game. We should just give it a flat amount to help you through the mid game, no stacks, etc., right? So, and I also feel like the magic damage should be buffed a little bit to like 120 on minions, which would be like 7 Feral Flare stacks right now. I feel like that would be nice balance. It'll get you through the mid game really easy. None of this ridiculous 240 damage and kill Baron really easily and boom, boom, bam, bam, bam. This item was broken. They're so broken. Why can't it stack? I don't know. So, what can I do if I stay in the jungle and farm all the time? Dude, like, all you have to do is farm and come out as a beast. No one can kill you. You have unmitigated lifesteal that is on hit. Like, you're insane. Check out some of my video highlights of me using Feral Flare, and, like, you just don't die. Especially on Master Yi, Warwick, stuff like that. It's really insane. I look like a cow. Thank you, YOLO Army. If you don't farm all day in the jungle, then Feral Flare is not a good item for you right now because you want to be able to stack it. Now, if you don't farm all day and Feral Flare did not stack anymore, like it stopped stacking, like I'm proposing, then you could still buy it even if you don't plan to farm the jungle all day. And I feel like that's a really solid proposal because now in competitive play where ganking is really important, we can now have Feral Flare there as well. Okay? So, yes, I am pretty mad about the Feral Flare. Like, when I was playing with it on PvE, I said, there is no way this item's going live. It is so broken. Look at me solo Baron at 15 minutes every game. But it went live. Alright, so, and then I feel like the on-hit heal should be 20 per hit, and I really don't feel like it should be on champions, but I feel like people will be mad if I said it shouldn't. So 20 on hit heal on champions on minions, I don't care. Either one. So whatever to that. It definitely should not be some ridiculous 50 on hit heal. And I have a cat. Here, you can see his tail. Woo! Alright, so, and then the last change, no more Spirit Stone stacking. Like, I was using Spirit Stone stacking with Wriggles before it turned into Feral Flare, and there's just no reason to have Spirit Stone stacking. Yes. Yes, we're live. We're live. So, yes, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. So, as I said, you know what? We'll go back a slide. So, oh, we can't go back a slide. So, thank you for listening to my presentation. I am now ending the YouTube video, but we will continue a Q&A and chat right now. Thank you.